This is TWiT.
Who's been playing arcade? Show of hands. I know you have, Lori.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing some arcade right now.
Renee hasn't had a moment to do it because he's been busy writing, but I bet you're going to sit down and start playing some games as soon as you get a nap.
The thing that convinced me is I was talking to my little 10-year-old godson on the weekend, and he wasn't sure about it. And then his brother goes, "That's because you download every game that you see an ad for." And it turned out he had like 200 games on his phone. That just because every time an ad pops up in a game he's playing and he gets frustrated, he just hits that button and downloads.
It's the next one.
And that just scared the crap out of me. So I'm like, no, you're going on arcade immediately.
So some of us are already playing it because if you're on the iOS 13 beta, you get it. It's simple. You go to the App Store, and all of a sudden that arcade button that's been useless is now really doing something and showing you the games. I counted 59 games this morning. There may be more. It's going to take them about a month to get to the 100-plus games. Games in every category. I'll tell you my takeaway on this. This is going to kill gaming on iOS because why would you do anything but pay $15 and play these games? They're fantastic.
$5, yeah.
I mean, what did I say? 15? Five.
The only reason.
Yeah, I think, the only games that are going to survive are the games that are big name titles that'll do well because everybody will want to play the latest, right?
Well, also the ones that are multi-platform, the ones that are not just that can also be offered for Android phones as well. It was an interesting extra tidbit that we learned that it's exclusives, meaning exclusives to phone platforms only, and that because I can imagine that any developer, any team that puts the amount of work that is involved in creating a games that are as polished as these, you kind of want to release a version for the Switch. It seems as though there's a lot of money to be had there, but
they still can, right?
Yeah, exactly. For other platforms, not for other phone handsets. But there's a lot. But there are a lot of people. There are a lot of developers who absolutely want to target Android. Number one, because they can get away with a lot more, and secondly, because there are a lot of people who don't have. A lot of people have Android handsets that don't necessarily have money for iPhones, but they do have money for $1.99 for every single loot box that comes along.
This is,
my take on it was that these are the games that are made by the developers who, they would not be able to survive making these games for iOS or Android in the open market. There's just like there wouldn't be enough pay to play. Like the gating would be obnoxious. They'd have to deform their game too much. They wouldn't have the money to do it, to take the risk for it. And because there's some really cool, moody, experimental games in here.
Yeah, there's some really odd games. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So this is what the golf. Sure. This is what the golf, which is not the first one you might pick up because you might think it's a golf game. It's really fun. Now I'm playing with bowling balls. I wish I had. Oh, jeez, Louise. This is the daily challenge.
Weird seeing all the PS4 and Xbox controllers. Playing on iPhone, on iPad, on Mac.
I dug up my old SteelSeries that I bought for the Apple TV and never used, and it works great with it. And a lot of these games are really better with a controller. Although you said that you were playing Oceanhorn, Laurie, was that the one you wanted?
Yeah, I spent hours playing it last night.
It's a really fun game.
All of my everything ran out of battery. I was just sitting there playing it and just like, oh, this is so much fun.
So this is a game that was a AAA title really for iOS some years ago. This is Oceanhorn 2. It's running on the Unreal Engine, so it's some of the games are graphically very simple. They all have beautiful music. I thought that was interesting. But this one is... I'm
blanking on its name, but the card game where you're going through the memories of a troubled child. Like, it's just so interesting, the choices that people made.
Yeah, that's
beautiful and moody.
A 90s card game. There's Rayman, there's Lego, so there's some big names. This is an odd one that probably a lot of people won't download because it's a text game. It's called Dear Reader. And I bet you didn't see this one, Lori.
I did, and actually, I haven't downloaded it yet, but I was definitely interested in it because I do like word games.
I do
like
too.
This,
yeah, I do crosswords and stuff.
It looks really fun.
It's weird. It's a strange. There's a bookstore. Again, none of this has in-app purchases or micro purchases. Oh, that's coming soon, I guess. So you can wander and not feel too like I'm going to spend money here. Should I play? Oh, I have to earn some ink. That's to buy it. That's the way you buy it. So I've been playing Pride and Prejudice. I've got Alice in Wonderland. No, you laugh, Andy, but it's
I know. No, I'm laughing because I'm entertained by the concept of this game. Playing
Pride and Prejudice. So I'm on chapter 5. Lizzie, Lydia, and Jane. These are the daughters. Let's begin. And it's just this is the rearranged game where you have to touch lines to exchange them. And I guess some of these lines are out of order. The other girls, nope. Oh, I'm losing some ink. I don't.
Oh, no.
The pressure. Recommend them, replied he. They are all silly and ignorant. There we go. Like other girls, but, okay, there we go. And then with this, oh, thank God, I gained some ink. Ink that I had lost. Okay.
I imagine that on expert mode, you've got Ulysses and you've got to impose set structure
yes,
on it.
Yes, that would be fun, wouldn't it? I haven't gotten far enough to know if you've got Ulysses, but wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, this is kind of completely not an arcade game. This is just a word game, but fun. They do download just like any app would. In fact, there is no search in the arcade tab, which is a little weird. So if you're trying to find a game, you actually search in the regular app store. Maybe if you type arcade in the name of the game. There are some odd games. This is, to me, not a real sweet spot game. It's called Bleak Sword. It's an 8-bit game, and it's really clearly designed for the phone because it's in portrait mode. But it's a little odd. Devolver is one of the titles that has one of the studios that has quite a few games on here. I did notice, Renee, that some of these studios or some of these games say produced by Apple, which I'm going to take to mean Apple gave them some bucks to do this, right?
Yeah, I get this strange vibe that Apple feels, and they should, responsible for the current state of gaming, at least co-responsible, because the entire, there was this race to the bottom and pay to play and all this stuff that just happened. And there are like people like to knock Apple and say they're not, they don't get gaming, but a lot of them are gamers. They just thought that casual gaming was the sweet spot, and it probably hasn't played out the way everybody hoped it would. And this is sort of like with great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man mea culpa, where they're trying to invent something just nice that people can play.
That is one of the concerns I have, though. Apple really is capable, as you can tell, by changing small rules in the App Store, of changing the whole ecosystem, as you pointed out. Oh, I lost.
Yeah, it's partially Apple, but it's like us and developers. It's like what happens when like wooden toys don't exist anymore. And like when you take away scarcity, you come to an age of ubiquity. We have now pop apps and pop games. And that's a very different market than developers had, where there was huge constraints on software still.
Right. I worry that this is going to change things, though. That, as I said, this is going to change the experience of game developers in the App Store. If you're not an arcade, do you even have a shot? Why would if I pay $5, I got 100 games.
2 shots.
I
the
am
franchises
satisfied.
And the cross platforms, I think, will still do very well.
I'm totally satisfied.
And I also think there's a lot of game developers and larger companies that don't want to participate in arcade, so they're going to work harder to provide good quality games for people to play instead of those sort of throwaway, download and play and give me all your money games. They're just going to have to work harder. The sort of normal now today is download a game for free and then spend $500 micro purchasing your way through the game. And I think Apple Arcade will change the face of that by saying, stop doing that and make good games that people want to play and they're willing to pay upfront for. I personally will pay $5 a month for Apple Arcade, and I will go buy other games for $5, $10, $15, and then I'll go buy games on my Nintendo Switch for $60 because there's different levels of game
Well, I
players.
don't deny that it's not going to hurt Switch or Xbox or PC gaming. I'm not saying that. I feel like, though, it's going to very much change the ecosystem on the Apple game store. I mean, I don't know why you would buy anything but this. You pay the $5 a month, and you've got more games than you could possibly play.
Well,
for some people, that's enough, but for others, they want more than just what's going to be available in the App
Store.
You're
going to see a complete decimation of the game of non-arcade games.
I think that there are still two big questions yet to be answered, or at least I don't know the answers to. Number one, how much money is each developer going to make off of this contribution to arcade?
Yeah.
And secondly, how much control is Apple going to inflict upon the creator of this game? All the way from, hey, your music track is okay, but it's not great, and it doesn't take advantage of this new spatial sound system, so we're not going to let you you're not going to let you approve it for our system until you fix these things that we don't like about your game, all the way to, we think this is sort of a touchy issue and we don't really want to, it's sort of, your game is a little bit icky, and
it's not going to hurt.
Wondering,
it's not going to hurt Fortnite. I grant you that.
Right.
It's not going to hurt Fortnite. But if I'm a developer, I'm going to look at another platform at this point. I would not.
Maybe it could be. It's also possible that Apple Arcade is going to be sort of like how every actor, every like big time actor, kind of their dream is to make 3 movies in a row that are superhero movies that make $1 billion at the box office, that guarantee that they don't get paid a penny less than $20 million plus 5% of gross receipts. But they also want to make the 4th movie to be an Oscar sort of contender movie that will make absolutely nothing but will elevate their profile and their prestige. It's possible that this is going to be like a game studio that really wants to make, here's the beautiful game that we can't possibly put before have a success with in any other fashion than with Apple Arcade, but we also have our own work that we can't make a game like Cuphead underneath the Apple Arcade system, so we're going to do it that way.
Yeah.
Does the mermaid really have to be wearing a seashell bra? Can she be wearing sort of a onesie? It's like,
I just think it's really important to understand that Apple did change the gaming space with just micropayments, with small rules that Apple makes are gonna absolutely change things. And this is not just a small thing. This is really this is a whole new world for gaming. And I don't know, Karsten. What about your kids? Do they ever play iOS games? Do you think?
We are an Android household,
okay, so you don't.
But if we were an Apple family, we would absolutely have this.
Yeah, you get what, 5-6 people, $5 a month.
Yeah, there's no question in my mind that
unlimited games. There's games in almost every, not every category, but many different categories. So if you're a tower defense gamer, or if you like platformers, if you like 8-bit games, there's choices for you. There's sim style games. There's nothing like Minecraft. There's nothing like Fortnite. Yet. Well, but see, I wonder if Apple. I don't see any first-person shooters exactly. There are weapons, but they're all kind of like shooting a pie cannon.
Yeah.
I don't think these games are going to focus on Minecraft and first-person shooter games.
They're arcade
that last
games
forever.
They're arcade
games.
Yeah.
They're going to be games that you'll play for a while, and then next month's games will come out, and then you'll play those games.
By the way, they do have multiplayer, it seems to be. We were playing Hot Lava earlier, and it looked like there were other people jumping over the lava in the room with us. And there are definitely scores of other people. I was playing this is the Frogger game that they showed off, which is a heck of a lot of fun. They've really actually taken Frogger to the next level. But I was playing a fun game where you're doing kind of solving railroad. Here, I'll show you. It's like a railroad game, except it's not. It's a highway game. Where was it? Mini motorways, where you're creating an urban landscape, and you get to choose the city, and they already have top scores. So there are other people playing these. This is, I think, this is Los Angeles. And I've got to build these freeways. There's, you get parts. The week is going by. I've got 46 cars, but I'm starting to get some congestion over here in the red. I could get more red people. Let me drive. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do here. Let me build a highway around here. Oh, I got to destroy that now. That's a waste. Oh, I feel like time is. Oh, I'm off the board. Oh. Anyway, you get the idea. This is my kind of game. I like puzzle games like this. I don't know. I think this is going to have a big impact on gaming in general. I'm not sure exactly what the impact will be. But you're right. It's going to be more casual gamers, right?
Yeah.